Welcome everyone, and I gotta say, Blazing Dominion looks great. I wanted to go over some of the cards I thought were really interesting, had some interesting applications in Gadget. I'm not sure exactly how many cards of what we will be playing, and I just wanted to talk about some of the stuff that, when I saw it, I thought of Gadget and its applications in it. Okay, first off, we've got Checker. Checker is basically Lone Fire for Yellow Gadget. It can't be normal summoned if you control a monster, which does make it a little bit awkward with like Gaten Cutter, which is something I've been trying to use as an extender. But it's really good and like is kind of like filling the same role that Gray Layer does. If referencing an older video, and Gray Layer comes out in Chaos Origins, so maybe this is like good to like kind of see how Gray Layer would feel in normal decks. Gray Layer, of course, is better because it has an emergency teleport, whereas this doesn't really. Anyway, I thought that was interesting. It also can make a token, but Gadget can't really use that effectively unless you go through Clockwork Knight, which is not because there's no Gadget that is benefited by being revived off of Clockwork Knight, so it's just like not extremely helpful, but it may come up. So the second card I was thinking of looking at is Convex Knight. Now Convex Knight it's not a TCG Premier like Checker is, but Convex Knight, it's kind of a scrap recycler, and it's kind of a metallic, and it's also a box target, and it's also a switchyard target. Switchyard target is important because we did get a Switchyard Searcher, that's an Earth Machine, in this set as well. Convex Knight is interesting. It is something that it probably replaces Gaten Cutter in the decks that I was playing it in, because it just fulfills that role while being not annoying to use. Not having the awkwardness of having to summon it on an empty field. This does come with the awkwardness of having it to summon it with Machine Monster on the field, but that shouldn't be too hard. If we get a critical mass of these, some of these things from the hand, we can probably move away from playing so many metallics, and then just max out on stoplights. And then if you can max out on stoplights, and you'd be like, okay, so I'm going to here's my stoplight, and then I have like 2 or 3 extenders. That would probably be best, but again, engine heavy gameplay is not something that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is really moving towards at the moment. It sometimes feels like it is, but it's just not, especially for Gadget. Third, Gaming Gamer GG. I saw the recipe, that's what they call it. 2 level 4 machines, so this is like got Gadget written all over it. But what it does is really interesting. It punishes your opponent for using hand traps, but not necessarily for using hand traps. So it's very mediocre going first. It basically does nothing going first. Unless your opponent hand traps you, or they summon something, or you can summon something to their field. But what the effect is Foolish Burial. And Foolish Burial is... There's a lot of Foolish Burials in Gadget, but there is one application that I really that I saw with this that I think would be really good. That synergy is summoning Cyber Dragon Infinity. Because it can name, change, and exceed after you Foolish Burial from deck or extra deck, you can send Cyber Dragon Nova and copy its name, and then you can use Gamer to make Cyber Dragon Infinity. So, is this good? I don't know. It kind of adds a little bit more oomph to your board if your opponent like Ash Blossoms. Like, it's a good like backup plan. Like, if all you can make was Gigant, but you didn't have a stoplight to go with your Gigant, you could instead make this. Let's say you go like gold, summon yellow effect, they ash it because they're like, there's not going to be this opponent's not going to be doing anything really that I'm scared of, and then you go boom, this Nova Infinity. Can maybe catch them off guard. Maybe you eat a Veiler, but then you have like an Extender and Convex Knight, but you don't really have anywhere to go past that, so then you can go Nova Infinity. Basically, I think this really raises the floor of this card of Gadget, but not at the place where I'd want it necessarily. I'd like to have more ways to get to stoplights without using the normal, which Gray Layer does super good. I think, like, I'm really excited to play with this, especially after Chaos Origins, because of just how much you're incentivized to, just how many cards that work with Gadget are being printed. Fourth up, I'd like to mention the train cards a little bit, and then there's one more card after this. The train cards are really strong. They're extremely strong. I don't know if they do what Gadget wants. So, Exceptional Schedule searches Urgent Schedule and summons a token to your opponent's field. So if you first action Exceptional Schedule, search Urgent Schedule, you can activate Urgent Schedule going first. And Urgent Schedule is Emergency Teleport, buffer 2 Earth Machines. Extremely potent. So, and that gets you basically whatever you want. You just go like Blue Traveler plus Scrap Recycler, let's say. Then you link them off for Clipboard Genius. Then you Blue Traveler back the Scrap Recycler and the Blue Traveler search Regulus. That's pretty strong. But you can do even more, because you can, instead of going straight for Clipboard Genius, you can go link off Scrap Recycler for Clockwork Knight away the Blue Traveler for Scrap Recycler sends something, maybe like Citadel, and then, because you're not machine locked at this point, maybe you could go for Scrap Wyvern, and then you get Citadel as well in that kind of like loop. Basically, Exceptional Schedule is very strong, but I'm not sure it's what Gadget wants. Flying Launcher is like another Gigant-esque card, and it even allows you to extra normal, but Mike's already uses that extra normal, so it's like weird to incorporate this into lines. And when I first did Gadget trains, it was kind of just like, if you draw one of the level 10s, you can make Dora with the Derek Crane underneath it, and was like, okay. This is a lot like being able to search Switchyard with Blue Traveler is extremely powerful, and yeah. This also enables a different machine FTK, but it's also machine locked, so that's cool, I guess. For the final card I wanted to talk about is 50/50. Now this card is I've played with it a little bit, and it is hilarious whenever it resolves. Some things to note about this: your opponent can ash this, so if they don't want to play the game that you set up for them, then they will just ash it, but then they use their ash, so maybe you're still ahead. You present your opponent the Monty Hall problem. If your opponent loses the 1 and 3, they hit the monster, which normally would be the prize. If they choose a monster and they didn't switch, you get to summon it or add it to your hand. And then if they switch, that they reveal a card that's not picked by you, that was not picked, that they did not pick, and you did not banish, then you get to add it to your hand. So if your opponent stays on with a card that they picked, it's a 1 in 3 chance that it'll be a monster. And then if it is a monster, then you'll summon it. If they switch, it's a 2 in 3 chance for it to be a monster, and if it's not a monster, and then if it is a monster, you get to add it to it. I was considering this in like over Small World, because It does kind of the same thing, except sometimes you special summon it. The problem is that the engine requirements for this are way worse. The trap that you play with this most likely is DD Post, and DD Post is, while extremely funny and extremely good in like a limited scenario, it's not constructed viable as far as I can tell. So anyway, 50/50, extremely interesting card. It could see play in like some sort of deck that has traps that it wants to banish, but I cannot think of a single deck that fits. Because it would also have to have monsters that you want to add to hand or special summon. And so it's like a very strange card, very interesting card. And it could be playable. Anyway. That's like kind of my thoughts on Blazing Dominion, especially as it goes into Gadget. There's a couple of other machines. There's like level 5 machine with the same attack and defense you can summon by banishing 5 link rating, but that just seems like not a Gadget card because I normally don't play too much link rating, especially machine link rating. But you could probably slot it in somewhere if you were missing 5s. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. See you next week.